Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, when did I stop being happy? Maybe you felt stuck in a relationship where your light keeps dimming, no matter how much love you give. Here's a fact: staying in a toxic relationship doesn't just hurt you emotionally, it can physically harm you. Chronic stress from these relationships can mess with your brain, your sleep, and even your heart. But here's the good news: you can break free. And I'm going to show you how. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear plan on how to protect your peace and how to reclaim your joy. Let's get into it. Before we dive in, a thank you to Fushi for partnering with me on today's video. Number 1, what is a toxic relationship? Let's begin with the basics on what makes a relationship toxic. It's not about disagreements or having bad days. Those can happen in any relationship. Toxic relationships are patterns that drain your energy, your confidence, and your happiness over time. Here are a few major red flags. Number 1, constant criticism that makes you question your worth. Number 2, gaslighting. When someone twists the truth so you doubt your feelings or reality. Number 3, control. Whether they isolate you from others or dictate how you live your life. If you're nodding along or feeling that pit in your stomach, don't ignore it. Toxic relationships can harm you more than just your emotions. They can impact your mental health, your physical health, in ways that you might not even realize. Let's move on to why these relationships are so hard to walk away from. Number 2, why do we stay? Now, I know what some of you are thinking. If it's so bad, why don't I just leave? The truth is, leaving a toxic relationship is hard, and it's not just about love. Here are a few straightforward reasons why people stay. You hope they'll change, you fear being alone, and you believe that you don't deserve better. I've been there in personally supporting my mum flee from a violent marriage that completely drained her physical, mental, and emotional health over years. She lived her life believing that she couldn't leave, and it took time for her to believe that there was a life on the other side of this. We all deserve relationships that nurture us, not drain us. If you're struggling with this, I highly recommend the book Why Does He Do That? By Lundy Bancroft. It's an absolute game changer when it comes to understanding toxic behaviours and breaking free. I'll link it in the description for you. Number 3, noticing subtle red flags. Sometimes toxic behaviour isn't obvious straight away. It can start small, and before you know it, you're in too deep. Here are some subtle signs to watch out for. They make jokes that feel more like digs at your expense. You feel like you're walking on eggshells, too scared to upset them. They seem overly jealous or possessive, even in casual situations. Here's what I want you to do. Grab a pen and a paper or your phone and write down 3 things that you absolutely need in a healthy relationship. Maybe it's respect, honesty, or kindness. Then ask yourself, does my current relationship match this? If it doesn't, it's time to think about what you truly deserve. Number 4, the impact of toxic relationships on your well-being. Let's talk about how toxic relationships affect your mental and physical health. Emotional pain is real, but did you know it can show up in your body too? Emotionally, you might feel anxious, drained, or like you're losing yourself. Physically, you might experience insomnia, headaches, or even stomach issues, all because of the stress that your body is under. I remember when I was in a toxic friendship and I couldn't sleep for weeks. Every argument replayed in my mind, leaving me completely exhausted. When I finally walked away, it was like I could breathe again, literally and emotionally. Trust me, the freedom is worth it. Number 5, setting boundaries. Setting boundaries is the key to reclaiming your peace. If you're still in a toxic relationship, the first step to protecting yourself is setting boundaries. Now, I know this can be scary, especially if the other person pushes back, but boundaries are essential. Here's how you can start. Number 1, decide which behaviours you won't tolerate, like constant negativity or disrespect. Number 2, communicate clearly. You can say, I feel hurt when you interrupt me, and I need space to share my thoughts. Number 3, enforce consequences. If they cross your boundaries, take a step back or limit your interactions. Start small, like saying no to something that makes you feel uncomfortable, and build it from there. It's a muscle and you get stronger with practice. Number 6, building your support system. Breaking free from toxicity isn't something you have to do alone. Surround yourself with people who uplift you. Here's what your support system might look like. Close friends or family members who listen and care. A therapist who can guide you through healing. Support groups or even online communities where people share their experiences. And speaking of support, if you're working on self-worth, check out my video on how to grow self-worth. Stop seeking external validation and level up your life. This will give you even more tools to take back your confidence. Number 7, rebuilding your confidence after you leave. Once you leave, it's time to rebuild your confidence and fall in love with yourself again. This isn't just about healing, it's about thriving. Here are 3 ways to start. Number 1, practice daily affirmations. Look in the mirror and say, I am enough, I deserve respect. Number 2, reconnect with your passion. Maybe it's art, fitness, or something you loved before the relationship. Number 3, track your progress. Celebrate every small win, whether it's setting a boundary or trying something new. A book on this, which is highly reviewed, is Radical Acceptance by Tara Brach. It's all about embracing yourself with compassion and finding peace in the present moment. I highly recommend it. Number 8, self-care is essential. Let's talk about self-care. After leaving a toxic relationship, your body and your mind need time to recover. Self-care isn't just about bubble baths, it's about creating habits that support your healing. Here are some ideas. Number 1, journaling. Write down your thoughts to process your emotions. Number 2, spending time in nature. Even a 10-minute walk can calm your mind. Number 3, creating rituals like drinking herbal tea before bed to unwind. Number 9, staying strong and don't look back. When you're tempted to go back, remind yourself why you left. Toxic people often try and pull you back with apologies, false promises to change. But remember, actions speak louder than words. Here's what you can do. Write down your reasons for leaving and keep them visible somewhere. Number 2, create a vision board for the peaceful and fulfilling life that you are working toward. And don't forget the resources I mentioned earlier. These tools are the key to keeping you focused and empowered. Number 10, embracing healthy relationships. Finally, let's talk about moving forward. Healthy relationships are out there, but they start with you. Here's what to look out for in future connections. Number 1 is respect. An easy way to notice this is that they honor your boundaries and your voice. Number 2, support. Look out for somebody that lifts you up, not somebody that tears you down. Number 3 is trust. An easy way to notice this is that you feel safe being your authentic self. You can also write down the qualities that you'd want in a partner or friend and use this list as a guide for building the relationships that you deserve. Breaking free from toxicity is a journey, but it's one that leads to freedom, joy, and a life where you can truly thrive. If you're ready to take that next step into building a healthy relationship with yourself, you can also watch my next video here. If you found this video useful, please remember to click subscribe and I'll see you there.